Life really is a dance, actually, because dance and movement is so vast. It can be from graceful, beautiful, slow movements to strong, sharp technique. And life is kind of like that as well. My life has kind of flowed in these waves, as dancers do across the stage, from these various kind of movements. My name is Kaitlyn Crook, and I was born and raised in Canada. And what I joke about being the garlic curtain of Canada, where there's lots of Ukrainians. I have a large family, was always really involved in my Ukrainian community and proud of my Ukrainian heritage. I lived here and studied Ukrainian dance, culture, and ethnography a number of years ago and have traveled back and forth to spend time in a place that really feels like home in my soul. Prior to the full-scale invasion, I had a very comfortable life. I grew up in Alberta, Canada, and then have lived in Vancouver, BC for the last 10, 12 years. I went to university, I had an amazing apartment, I worked in the hospital as a unit clerk management, so I worked in different units as mental health. I also teach and have a really great passion for dance and movement. I think that the mind and body connects more than some of us understand, and it's so important to connect those two and act through that. I've been dancing since I was a little girl. My parents joke that they couldn't keep me out of the dance studio. I first got involved about a week later with Ukrainian Patriot, the organization that I volunteer with, and in a number of different ways. We were building the plane while we were flying it, and whatever we could all do and gain people and come together, we did. I first came to Ukraine in February 2023, 1 year after the beginning of the full-scale invasion. And since then, I've returned for 3 trips at a total of 3 months each time. I am a young person. I'm not even 30 years old yet. I don't have children or a boyfriend or a husband or a big full life in that sense, but I do believe that each of us play a part in the puzzle of this crazy world that is upside down at the moment. And so I want to help. And for me that starts, and I feel a responsibility to where my family came from, and that is Ukraine. My Ukraina, one of my favorite places. I simply can't explain how I feel here. And it is a bigger picture in the world of what's happening here. It is not just about Ukraine, it is about freedom and democracy around the entire world and for the future of people like me who will grow and continue to do amazing things and inspire other people to step in and do whatever they can, small or big, in Canada, in Japan, in Ukraine. You can all play a part. So it's really important to me to do that. I think all of us that come to Ukraine, or actually not just in Ukraine, life can be traumatic. It can be full of heartbreak and terrible things. And it kind of goes as the cliche saying, what doesn't kill you does make you stronger. Prior to the war, I've had a lot of tragedy in my life and trauma. And rather than letting that get me down and per se scaring me in my dreams, it actually pushes me farther. The children in Donetsk, in Izium, in Kherson, the children and the refugees that I teach back in Canada, sometimes their stories may haunt me in that it breaks my heart that this is their reality. But it is my job, or I feel that it is my job because I am capable to shift that for them, to make a difference for them. One of my dreams would be to start a Ukrainian dance group in Izium or in Kherson and kind of bring this crazy Canadian Ukrainian girl to these areas to lift them up, to build them up and show them that there is community, there is culture, and that there is this light, there is this love, there is this hope that comes with it and this connection. And that's why I love the organization that I'm a part of, and all of the people in this group, including myself, really live our lives even outside of Ukraine in this way. I don't let it haunt me, I let it fuel me and fire me up to continue to do more. And I am confident that I will start a Ukrainian dance group somewhere here in Ukraine and share my passion and inspiration among all of these children and teenagers and adults and babusia and didus, everybody.
My name is Mons. I'm from Germany, from Köln. I live 11 years in Ukraine. My business is periodic marker business, hairdresser business in Ukraine. And I work as volunteer and now by DFTG 2 years in Ukraine.
Доброго рано, Україна.
I was 4 years old and I cut my sister the hair. No, it was okay, it was not bad. and eigentlich my full life I won't make hairdresser business. Also it's not changing. My mom say every time, you want noch many makes, firefighter, this, policeman or this. By me was the strong way. Hairdresser and I was 15 and I started. But it was my dream, it was really my dream. My greatest success, it was 2015. The big magazine was looking for the famous creative hairdressers in the world and make votings around the world, and yeah, I was the #1. Yeah, and then later, after school, I was started my business in hairdressing. I was 15 years old and started, potom my master. And it was 1990, I started my military time, 2 years. In air defense, first time we was in tank battalion, later air defense. After this, after 2 years, I started my business again in hairdressing. I will meet my wife on my first seminar in Ukraine. We have meet and after this my coffee and every time, I was every month in Ukraine. And when I come the first time to Ukraine, it was directly my big love. And so I was thinking long time, what I make. Every time was this so, when I fly to Ukraine, it was ob I fly home and not more Germany. And so I changed my business to Ukraine. And so we come more near, and yeah. So I come to my wife. It was, I say, Ukraine give me in this time very good sky, my wife, very good food, my job. It was very nice time. And then Russian came. We must go in the underground. It was so many on records on this day. I see the first records in the near from us was go in the children garden. And many children was deaf. Also it was big catastrophe. And so we was in the underground, also not water. It was very difficult time. Yes, the beginning of the war, I have helped schon 2014, shown many guys on front and delivery many times, and for more than 2 years we started the big war in Ukraine. It was for me directly the think I must help. I must more help than before, and so I started volunteer business, and we started with many new cars to front, medicine, many equipment, and now I work by DFTG in Ukraine for the air defense. We shoot the drones, we shoot rockets. Oh, my time is very split. I work here in my studio, also in the morning from 4 o'clock bis 11 o'clock. After this started my business for helping for the front, all organization, medicine, all equipment, many phones, and then all 4 days we must go for 24 hours in our air defense place. I drive every time in the dangerous regions, jetzt auch Noto, Chasivya, Bakhmut, Avdiivka. Also we with my team, we many times in the zero line, and it is very, very dangerous every time. Also it is real when we drive to front, 50-50. We come back or not. It is real.
Доброго рано, Україна. Доброе утро, Ира.
The difficult time now in the war, it is, I lost my best friends, my long-time friend. He was 9 years, was my best friend. We was 9 years together. It was 1 year ago in the near from Bakhmut. I lost many, many clients from me, more than 200. And it is very, very hard. I think the people's all tired, all around the world. I think. I'm saying we all tired. We are tired, but we have no choice. We must. I hope it is go that we became wieder reanimation for more donations. It is, and the people's wake up. Like all was tired, but the people's must wake up. And I think the time is coming now. It is more and more and more. We cannot stop it. We must win. We must the Russian take out as our country. We have no choice.
At least 50% of the dogs are called Gerda or Malish. Or if you're lucky, it's Ricci, you know, and it's like, come on, Ricci. Is that artillery coming in, going out, or whatever, and still then you see the dogs still have that small shock. So when they come back to our shelter, they just sleep for 3 or 4 days.
Gerda? My name is Noel Tok. I am from Switzerland, and a big part of being here is that so many animals were displaced as a result of Russians occupying various territories, then being pushed back. Now you have the deoccupied territory, so you still have animals running around. All these animals deserve a second chance. In 2023, at least, from Noel Tok charity, so we evacuated and rehomed 501 animals, I think it was. So that's really the full process. We produced and distributed those 245,000 kilos of dog food, and we distribute and we bring them ourselves, right? So the four of us make up the leadership team of Noel Tok. And then we have an extended team from people who work in the shelter, people who do deliveries, and come on evacuations with us, because ultimately we are fully vertically integrated. And that means that not only do we evacuate animals from the front lines, we also bring them to our shelter. We have place for maximum 70. It gets quite full sometimes. There we have our vet that comes by, Oleg, once or twice a week to do the sterilizations, vaccination, put the chip in, deworming, this whole process. And then during that whole time, we also have our two sales ladies finding different families to then bring this dog to, and then at the end we deliver the dog directly to Western Ukraine.
Yeah. Who's that?
There's been a lot of moments in terms of being confronted with war. Sometimes it's not the actual explosions and the shells and things like that. It's the stories you hear, how horrible war is. There was this one day where Pavel and myself, we're just doing a couple of evacuations, really easy ones from Kramatorsk to Slovansk. Sometimes there's military guys that want to come with, because they just need a ride, because they're not on rotation. They just have like a small holiday or something's happening or whatever that they need to go home. So at the checkpoint, the guy at the checkpoint says, "Hey, where you heading?" And we say, "Kharkiv." And he says, "Oh, can you take this guy with?" And we say, "Of course." So sits in the back, we start driving. And it's an older man, I'd say. He was probably, 62. And it turns out that he joined the military because his son joined the military. And the son didn't get drafted. The son was 21 years old and decided, I'm going to go volunteer. And I'm going to be at one of the frontline units and, do what's right for the country. Paul talks to him some more and asks him, "Well, where are you going back to Kharkiv?" And he says, the older man says, "Well, I have to go bury my son." Then he says, "And after I'm done with that, I'm going to go back to the front lines to protect my son's friends." The father volunteered because his son volunteered and lost his son, and now he's going back to the front lines to protect his son's friends. And it's just incredibly selfless.
And we're driving through back roads back from Velikoladies, and the sun is setting, becoming really beautiful, like it's really this red and orange and the colors are really popping. But you realize the only reason it's that colorful is because of the fires and the smokes in Volchansk. The thing I see a lot, which I can't undo, is the paradox and the contradictions in beauty and horror. And at the same time, it gives me a lot of appreciation just for, a nice day or a kindness between individuals or just seeing my friends. And I think I've learned a lot about myself in that process. So if anything, I want to keep learning of myself and keep finding out who I am as a human,